And when did you start like working in comics? When were you start like about first working like getting professional about comics?
So I'd always wanted to write comics, and I never knew how to go about doing it because in the old days I'd always heard, you've got to mail your samples to New York. If you don't live in New York, you probably don't have much of a chance. Which is funny because in today's world, you can live anywhere in the world and have as much chance as anybody else. It's just now it's all about if your talent and timing is good. But back then, I didn't know how to break in, so I did all this other writing. I was a copywriter. I did technical writing for car companies, and I kind of hated all of it. So I started writing comic reviews on the side, and doing those reviews led me to different people. I wrote a review of Kevin Smith's Green Arrow, and I wasn't all that complimentary of it. I read the first issue and I didn't get it. It felt very anachronistic to what the character was, which of course was the point of that series. And had I kept going before reviewing it, it would have made sense and paid off. Instead, I reviewed the first issue, didn't like it, and Kevin found me, wrote to me, and said he just basically explained to me all the ways my opinion was wrong. And like for weeks and months, we were going this back and forth thing, and I would go home and tell my girlfriend, like, fighting with Kevin Smith again. She was like, why? Like, why is he wasting his time with some idiot like you? And I'm like, I don't know, but it's amusing, and so I was defending myself. He was making his point, and like it never got mean.
Yeah.
And then it almost got friendly.
Really?
And then as it kept going, we just sort of started talking comics. We ended up meeting up when it was right when he first moved to LA. So we went and saw the Spider-Man movie. And then got to talking again, and like he had me to his house, and we just were talking about work. And at the end of it, he said, "Hey, I want you to run this website that I have." It was Movie Poop Shoot, which was a site in one of his movies. It was like an Ain't It Cool News movie parody site, and he wanted me to turn that into this legitimate sort of pop culture portal with comic and movie and music news and everything. And so I did that, and through that site, I met a lot of different comic creators. And the biggest one that had an impact on me was Steve Niles, who, when the job at IDW opened up for editor-in-chief, called me and said, "Hey, have you ever considered, a job in comics, like from that side, like from the publisher side?" And I said I hadn't really ever thought about it. And so I came and talked to IDW, and right about the time they offered me the position as the editor-in-chief, Kevin offered me a job running his comic store in Westwood.
Oh, I remember that.
So it's kind of like the question of, do I want to go the retail route or the publisher route? And, I wanted to write and make comics. And so as much as the Kevin job sounded fun, like going to the publisher felt like the right move for me. And so that was 2004, and been in it ever since.
Yeah. I remember that comic book store in Westwood, and sadly it didn't last very long. It was I was a big fan of like going back and collecting back issues. To me, like this is when I was learning about comic books.
Yeah.
And I would go back in there and I'd be like, "Oh, cool. Do you have any back issues?" And they're like, "No, we just have what came out last week."
But do you need a Jane Silent Bob piggy bank?
And you're like, "No, I'm okay."
It was a great shop,
Yeah,
but it was almost like it was going to be hard for him to make it there because that's a really expensive area in Westwood. And comics are not the highest margin business, and so it was too bad to see it go because I never want to see any comic shop go.
I agree. That's exactly.
At that point, I left the city and moved to San Diego and started IDW.
Yeah.